People don't need to have any idea what they're talking about. They just know that that's a Trump card, and usually it's going to work. Occasionally it doesn't work, as we saw last night on Bill Maher. Heidi Heitkamp, the former senator from North Dakota, not the brightest bulb in the pack. There was one time a friend of mine was going down to serve in Congress, and we were talking to a long-standing U.S. congressman, and we asked, "Hey, what should we know about Congress? What should we know about the halls of Congress?" And this long-standing congressman, whose name I won't mention, said, "Well, you're going to be disappointed. The IQ on average is not so high there." And Heidi Heitkamp, in her comments last night, I think, proved this point, though fortunately she's no longer in the Senate. She went on Bill Maher's show, and they were addressing my colleague here, Gina Carano, the movie star and MMA fighter. And Heidi Heitkamp just casually just said, Gina Carano, she's a Nazi. Everybody knows that.
I like this picture. Who was the woman in the Mandalorian? What did she do? She liked something?
She was a Nazi.
Oh, that's different,
Yeah.
right? I'm thinking of somebody else. Well, she's not a Nazi.
She's a white. She's
See, look at
involved
that.
in white
You're calling
supremacy.
her in that.
She's called other people Nazis.
Right.
So she's the Nazi.
Okay, everyone's a Nazi now.
Yeah.
She does hang with white supremacists.
It's like a Mel Brooks
She does?
movie.
Yeah.
Hangs with white
I suppose I'm now subject to defamation.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what your definition of white supremacist is. That also, the goalpost there changed a lot. Used to be a guy in a Klan hood who...
But I think we have to be really careful. There's two things the Republicans think they're going to get Biden on. Cancel culture and this whole Dr. Seuss stuff that's going on where they're reading Green Eggs and Ham, proving that some of these senators can actually read. And immigration. And so we can't ignore the fact that we got Donald Trump was in part because of political correctness.
Oh, I hope Gina does sue her for defamation. I don't think she will, because defamation suits are just really, really hard to win, and you spend a lot of money on lawyers in it. If you're a public figure, it usually doesn't work. But I hope she does, because what Heidi Heitkamp here is saying is just completely indefensible. And worse than the slander of it all is the laziness. To say, this woman doesn't know a thing about Gina Carano. This woman has probably never Googled Gina Carano. But she read some Facebook post from, I don't know, her like blue-haired niece or something that said Gina Carano's a Nazi, and that's all it takes. So yeah, no, she's a Nazi. And then Bill Maher, to his credit, he goes a little light on her, but at least he calls her out. He says, what? Wait, I think he thought she was kidding at first. He goes, oh yeah, everyone's a Nazi. Wait, are you really saying that, Heidi? Wait, hold on, she's a Nazi? And then Heidi realizes, she's like, uh-oh. I thought I could just get away with this drive-by slander. Now I'm being called out on it. Now I actually have to defend my views, but I can't because I have no idea what I'm talking about. And then she tries to dial it back. So she dials it back from Nazi, from literally Hitler, to, well, she's a white supremacist. I'm not, everyone knows that, right? Please let me get away with this, Bill. Please, wait, what? How's she a white supremacist? And then Bill tries to dig her out of it a little bit. He's like, well, I guess it depends what your definition of white supremacist is, but what? How do you? And then Heidi tries to bring it back even further. She goes, she hangs with white supremacists, and who? What do you know about anything, Heidi? Nothing. And then the other guy, the libertarian guy, whose name I forget at the moment, but he comes out and he defends Gina, I think, quite well, and says, no, she compared the actions of some other people to some actions that the Nazis did. She made a comparison. She didn't even call anybody Nazis, and she certainly, if you accuse someone of being a Nazi as though that were a terrible thing, you yourself probably wouldn't embrace the label Nazi, right? It's just so stupid. It's just so incredibly lazy. And then I love the button on the whole interview as she goes, yeah, and no, but Bill, hold on, I can't defend my views. So I think we need to be really careful. You need to be really careful. You just called a woman a Nazi without any evidence whatsoever, without knowing a thing about her. And we need to be careful. And then she pivots and tries to talk about something else. She got caught in the way. I keep going back to this because it was so funny. A black Democrat lady called in to David Webb's radio show once, and he made a good point. And she said, well, you only think that because of your white privilege. And I guess she didn't know. She never met David Webb. And so David Webb goes, ma'am, I don't think you would say that if you knew me. She goes, no, you are. It's because of your white privilege. David Webb, of course, is very much a black man. And so he goes, ma'am, I'm a black guy. And she says, oh, okay. Well, anyway, because it doesn't matter. It's not the claim, the charge of white supremacy or Nazism or whatever. That's not the conclusion of an argument. That's the premise. That's where they're starting from. And then if the premise is proven wrong, oh, too bad. All right, we'll try something else. But usually they don't get called out on the premises, so they just get to continue the smears. If you enjoyed that break from disinformation, historical revision, and screaming about the end of the world, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss another video.